forward to having a great day out there today. I'm sure all you know the cause for this tournament is sick kids in the UJA, but we're super excited to be able to donate a ton of money for them. And I think this year we're having the most, right?
Canada's biggest Jewish hockey star, Zach Hyman, is back in Toronto for the summer with his family. The Leafs let him walk a year ago, and then he signed with Edmonton after 6 seasons in his hometown. Hyman probably would have preferred to bring the Stanley Cup out to his annual golf fundraising event, which was held Monday in Toronto. But the Oilers star and his team lost 4 straight games in the conference finals in June to Colorado, and so he had to settle for handing out a smaller prefab trophy from his foundation to whoever went on to win this tournament at Oakdale. And by the way, Oakdale is a golf club that was founded nearly a century ago by Jews when Jews were not permitted to join Gentile courses. It's the 3rd year of Hyman's celebrity golf tournament. The last 2 got cancelled because of COVID. This time they hope to raise about $350,000, and most of the money is for Jewish causes, the federations in Edmonton and in Toronto, and some is earmarked for Sick Kids Hospital. So we at the CJN Daily went out to catch all the action. And there was a media scrum with Hyman and separate ones with some of his NHL celebrity friends like Connor McDavid and Mitch Marner and Jake Muzzin and Darnell Nurse. So while most of the reporters wanted to talk to them about inside hockey things, like what Hyman advised Jack Campbell to do before the goalie signed with Edmonton a few weeks ago, or what Hyman thinks about Matthew Tkachuk leaving Calgary for Florida, I got to ask Hyman about his Jewish values.
Growing up in the Jewish community, I think you learn about giving back, and it was something that was really important to me. Learned about it. My parents, taught me about it. Teachers, family, everybody. So I think that's just an important value.
I'm Ellen Besner, and this is what Jewish Canada sounds like for Tuesday, July 26, 2022. Welcome to the CJN Daily, sponsored by Metropia. Zach Hyman has always been more than upfront about his Jewish heritage, about how he went to Jewish high school, chat, and he even tweeted about anti-Semitism this year. When Hyman moved to Edmonton last summer, he told people he was going to change his jersey number to 18 in honor of the day his son Theo was born. And he was planning to send Theo to the city's Jewish school system when the baby was old enough. This past Hanukkah, Hyman got hoisted up to the top of a giant menorah outside the Alberta legislature to help light one of the candles for the community's public ceremony. I asked him about his charity work and the tournament, and about settling into Edmonton's Jewish community. Can you talk about the tournament a little bit?
Sure.
You're giving attention to the Jewish causes.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to talk a little bit about what
Sure.
that means to you?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously this tournament for us is extremely important. Really just donating to great causes, sick kids and the UJ being the 2 main benefactors, and growing up in the Jewish community and being in Toronto, having roots here, you always want to be able to give back and sick kids and the work that they do for kids all across Ontario and the world. I think it speaks for itself. Every year when I was on the Leafs, we'd go and do a visit there, so it really puts things into perspective, and I think it's just amazing the amount of people that are out here, volunteers, people who are donating just to support those causes. It's pretty special.
Can you describe what it's been like to become part of the Edmonton Jewish community? I saw you on a crane at Hanukkah.
Yeah, I was. It's great. It's a smaller community than Toronto, obviously, but it's close-knit, and it was very nice of them to invite me to go and have that honor for Hanukkah, and it was special, and it was cool to be able to meet a bunch of the members of the community at that event.
Edmonton businessman Mike Shire traveled to play in the Toronto golf event because of what Zach Hyman represents in his community.
So my family actually donated that menorah like years and years ago. I almost look at it every day out of my office window. So I'm like, what can we do to spice this up for Hanukkah last year? And I'm like, you know what, we're going to get the token Jew of the Oilers, and he's going to go up with Rabbi Ari and light the menorah for us. It was an amazing event. I actually didn't get a chance to meet Zach that day, but everyone had a great time. So Zach's a great ambassador for the city where we love having him.
And what's the question that he gets asked the most in Edmonton? Do you know?
So I've actually never met Zach, but I can just touch on something briefly that he's done separately. I asked Alex, a good friend of Zach, obviously, for a couple jerseys to get signed by him. I gave him the jerseys. I couriered them out to Toronto. he signed them, and I actually donated them to the kids' school, the Talmud Torah in Edmonton, which my kids are 4th generation, and Theo, his son's going to be going, and they're using it as a fundraiser along with a couple of signed sticks that I got from him as well to raise money for new air conditioning units in the early learning center, which Theo will be part of in the daycare. So, Zach does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I hate asking to get stuff signed for Zach. My best friend is a former Oiler. My best friend's George O'Rourke. I used to hate asking him for stuff. But you know what? Sometimes you have to use these connections that you have if your heart's in the right place. And Zach's heart is always in the right place, just from what I know about him. And he does a ton of stuff behind the scenes. And that's kind of like how I like to be, if you can use those connections, like I said, to do stuff, where people, normally wouldn't be able to get these things. And because people want to buy these things, right? They want to support Jewish charities. And if they see a Jewish athlete going behind the scenes to help out, they're always willing to step up and support those events.
Okay, speaking of which, so Edmonton and Jewish kids playing hockey, obviously having Zach Hyman there will be an inspiration, a role model. Do you know anything about that, how that's been?
So, ideally next year, I'd love from him to come out to the Talmud Torah and speak, not so much as an Oiler, but as a Jewish athlete, as an author, someone that people can aspire to. Our community in Edmonton is very small but proud. There's like 5,500 people living there. But, everyone, Jews like to take care of their own, and it's just one of those things where if Zach could come out, and he influence one kid, that's a huge mitzvah.
Fred Wax is one of the title sponsors of the event. His family's been friends with Hyman for years, so Wax got to play in a foursome with Connor McDavid, Elliot Friedman, the hockey broadcaster, who's also Jewish, and Hyman.
I just think by his example, given his status in the sports world and being a Chat graduate and not forgetting his roots, it's amazing what he does. So as long as Zach is giving to the community, I'll give to Zach. And it speaks to his prowess on the ice and in the community, the type of people that are attending today, particularly the stars of the NHL, of the sports world, and basically a lot of us in the Jewish community in Toronto. So he's doing a mitzvah, and it's just wonderful. I think the last time we had a Jewish hockey star was probably Levinsky from the 30s. So the fact that he's been able to play with the greatest player of his generation on the same line just speaks volumes as to his abilities and his work ethic. And it's just great to support people like that.
And unfortunately, his team went on to do better than the Toronto team did this year. How do you guys navigate that?
I don't, because I'm good friends with Larry, and I dare not speak about the Leafs' folly. And I actually expressed my opinions earlier to the Leaf brass as to the great loss they would have, and they recognized it. So, I mean, Zach is an impact player, and you know what? I think it's just wonderful that he's doing great and that he's playing with a great Canadian team.
All right.
He's going to bring the Stanley Cup to Edmonton, no question about it.
Thanks, Fred. Zach Hyman's about to become a father for the second time any day now. So he's been really busy packing it in, doing the rounds of various charity events, and also taking in some strength training sessions with his NHL teammates, including Connor McDavid. McDavid wasn't aware of the significance of what the number 18 means on Hyman's jersey. For good luck, it's a Jewish number for good luck, and he wears it because he's Jewish. Are you guys know about that at all?
For sure. I didn't know that that number is good luck, but it's certainly brought.
It means life.
Okay, well, he brings a lot of life, that's for sure. He brings lots of energy and lots of life, and he definitely represents it well.
Jory Vernon volunteers with Hyman's charity. He used to be vice principal and Hyman's history teacher in high school and has stayed close to the athlete.
I think he's a role model in that sense too, because there aren't many who have come before him, and not many hockey players or athletes who are so open about their Jewishness and proud of being Jewish. And I think that that's a tremendous reflection on him and the influence it has on others. Everybody knows who he is, and the fact that he is proudly Jewish is significant to anybody who, whatever walk of life they end up going into, to be proud of your Jewishness, to be open about it, and to love the fact that you're Jewish and view that as a privilege as well. That when you see someone like Zach who has achieved that kind of level of success in a field that isn't certainly traditionally a Jewish field, is remarkable, and it really reflects well on him, but also on the influence that he can have on so many others of all ages.
And that's what Jewish Canada sounds like for this episode of the CJN Daily, sponsored by Metropia. Integrity, community, quality, and customer care. Today's listener shout-out goes to our new producer, Zach Kaufman, who was with me at the event and gathered some of the audio for our episode. Zach did say that if I didn't manage to grab an interview with Zach Hyman, I could always interview him because his name is also Zach, and he was 2 years behind Hyman in the same school, and they're basically the same person, except our producer doesn't know a thing about hockey. Welcome aboard, Zach. And we'll end the episode with the other Zach, Hyman, being asked about his golf game, and listen for the really Jewish way he responds.
Have you been trying to improve in the past 2 years?
Me?
Yeah.
Oy. I had a kid, so that doesn't help my golf time, and then I have another one coming, so that doesn't help it either. So I'm rusty, to say the least.
Fair.
Yeah.